I hope that people will appreciate and enjoy the fact that our video is better. Maybe.
What? You moved for a second.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, that's us in the past.
All right, so sorry we had a little technical hiccup there. And now I'm watching in the past, so I need to turn that off. Oh, how do I mute it? Yes. There we go. So, excellent. So, let me begin by saying, I announced in the shout box a couple hours ago, Matt Frank is not able to join us today. That is totally my bad. I scheduled this. I thought this was one of the days that he was available, but he is actually in transit back from a convention today, and so he's completely not available. This is Roger Soar. Hopefully many of you still remember him. Yeah, he's still here.
I still exist.
Yeah, more facial hair than before.
Yes, yeah. that's I've been doing a lot of computer science homework instead of shaving.
That helps.
No, yeah, my face gets very cold, so...
Right. So, this is our first live stream with the new Pro HD camera, so hopefully the video quality is better. I don't know. Maybe if we played cards later. That was really where the quality was suffering in the past. Okay.
I'd love to defend my championship at that game.
Yes, well, oh man, and there's so much new stuff coming in the game as well.
Cool.
We have 4 pre-configured starter decks that are coming out themed around the Kaijujin with new team cards that are easy to find, and a whole new set of cards coming out in July. But that is really, like, June is when we're going to start rolling that stuff out.
What's the one? X1.
XI.
So
actually, right. That monster has actually now gone through the full collaboration and is now Zeramis. As the new official name.
Zeramis, I love it!
With an X, right?
Hail Zeramis, well, of course.
Yeah. Alright, so, Monster Comment Day, blah blah blah. So without Matt here, Roger and I are going to be doing our best to comment on some monsters. That's going to be exciting.
I'm excited.
Yes. Let's see, and this is, a bunch of people posted today, and it is too late. Yes, even Meat Brawler is too late. So the last one is Asura.
Yes.
Yeah, so that means that there are 75 entries for this Monster Comment Day. I've blocked out 2 hours, so hopefully you're clipping Simon. Are you using clippers on me in some way?
I don't know.
Maybe beard trimmer or
am I cutting off?
Clippers?
Well, obviously I don't have a beard trimmer, but maybe I'm cutting off your sentences, or is there something clippy about your audio? I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe I'm using a paperclip somehow. Wait, here. This might be what he means. I'm clipping Simon.
No, I have. What? Shouldn't I be the one doing it?
No, maybe. Oh wait, he's saying it again. You're clipping Simon over and over. Okay.
Your sound is too loud, which causes distortion.
Oh yes. Okay. Well, let's see. We can do this.
Oh, that makes sense.
Okay. Oh, I'm so loud. How about that? Bring the audio mixer down. Yes. Excellent. Well, okay, that ended up being useful instead of funny.
Right. No, I had assumed that he was actually trying to tell us something. I was just thought we'd joke about it until he revealed it.
Yep. All right. So, tell those kids to keep it down. All right. So,
oh, the kids upstairs.
It could be the kids
upstairs. Maybe it's us. Either way, it's accurate. Well, let's get to the monsters.
Let's get to the monsters. We could use a D20, which is more fun.
Oh, man.
Do you have a D20 on you?
Often. Not right now.
Would you go grab, in the game shelf, there's a big green D20?
Yeah. Okay.
The green one's my fave. We use it for most of the official stuff here. All right. Roger Sora's gone. Oh, Lembo showed up. Hello, Lembo. Let me explain a little bit about what this holiday is about. This is Monster Comment Day 2015. I am Simon Strange, owner of Sunstone Games, and we do a lot of original monster sort of development with the community. Because we do so much of that, and because we have so many thousands of monsters submitted to the site all the time, I have a policy of not commenting on monsters. Because I initially started commenting on monsters and people would ask, and it was wildly overwhelming. So I am not commenting about monsters in general. Except for one day a year. Last year was the end of April, this year is the beginning of May, that we set aside for official comments on monsters. So we're getting all those comments out of the way. We've got 75 monsters in the queue today. I don't think we're going to be able to find... I don't think we're going to find the time to get through 75, but maybe we'll get through 30, 40 even. Yes, it's going to be awesome. So Oscar can't be Matt's replacement because Oscar's actually having his D&D club that runs on occasional Sundays. So, yes. All right, so 75. So we'll do
the D&D
1 through
middle
15.
schoolers had it.
Yes. 1 to 15, so that's 4, so that's 20. And then there we go. All right. So we're going to jump to number 20, last monster on the first page.
Hey.
Gorvadax. Here we go. Gorvadax, the Infernal Space Worm. So some of these I had prepared, and maybe I hadn't. Yes. So Dragoran is the creator here. It's a giant larval worm. Let's see. Secondary attacks, lunging up at opponents and rolling up into a ball. I don't know if the word up enhances those descriptions, because lunging at opponents is clear. Lunging up at opponents only makes sense if the opponents are above.
See, that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, does he burrow underground and then lunge up? Oh, does she burrow underground and then lunge up?
Ooh, that would be fun. Launching, like using the Earth as a launch tube.
Right, like that's what I was thinking, because they're all going to be huge, and she's actually real close to the ground. So then lunging up still makes sense.
Okay.
I don't know. I like up, at least in the lunging part, because it does illustrate like a specific kind of lunging.
And the character is said to be larval, but has a whole bunch of little legs, which is interesting. I guess in Starship Troopers they work that way, but in Earth insects at least, larvae do not have legs in that way.
Well, clearly not from Earth.
Yes.
Or has been mutated in some way.
Let's see. So, one day a probe from Earth's solar system came and extracted a sample of the oceans and captured in the process. Interesting. So, this is a future Earth where we have satellites that travel to other planets and return. We haven't even been to Mars, which is kind of our next up there. Yeah, and so...
I like that they're satellites, too, implying that they have a huge, like, arc.
Yes. Okay. Attacking. So it's interesting. So Gorvadax is not gigantic on her home planet, or there's just a larger scale for the animals. So I don't... So... right away,
and they found
it says the energy style is Fury. I don't like that for this character. That's really inappropriate. I see a lot of people trying to go for Fury. Let me talk a little about the Fury energy system. Fury means that you get energy, which means your ability to use weapons and projectile things and special abilities. You get it through combat with other monsters. So that only makes sense for monsters who are always fighting other monsters. Otherwise, you wouldn't have a Fury energy system. So unless you're like some sort of a spirit guardian, or you are some sort of like gladiatorial kaiju, or bred for combat, or synthetic thing, or like Gigan could be Fury style. But if you're just like some worm that gets picked up on an asteroid and comes back home, you wouldn't have a Fury combat style because you don't fight other monsters as a thing.
Right.
Yeah. So I think Fury is inappropriate in this case. Yeah. So I like the character in general. I like the image is good, and the general origin stuff is well described. I think this suffers a bit from... I'm sorry, you're the first one, so you're getting all these comments. I'll probably repeat this over and over. It suffers a bit from... you're answering too many questions. You're sort of like, oh, let me tell you what their moves look like. Let me tell you what... And answering questions is really not the best way to convey information. You really want to convey your goals, right? So you have this character. Why is the character a larva? Why is the character from outside our solar system? Why is the character immune to heat? Why is, you want to have a goal for all those things. And if you explain your goals to us, anyone can make up the answers to the questions that will then arise. But if you start by answering all the specific questions, like if I have a slightly different question, you didn't answer my question, and so you didn't really communicate to me. But if you lay out your goals, I can extrapolate from your goals the answers to any questions I might come up with. So there's nothing that's wrong, but you could just... I think you could do a lot more with the words you have here by focusing on goals. So, Ta-da! Yes. Gorvadax. Number 20. Alright, let's do another one.
I think it looks very much like those things from the Avengers, which is not a bad thing.
Oh yeah, the Chari...
yeah, the big worms.
Yes. I thought those were a little silly. I see things like that and I'm like, oh, that's because that's easy to animate. Like, I was like, oh, like why is it swimming through the air? Because that's easy to animate. That's my slightly jaded thing. Oh, I keep.
Where does all the Hulk's extra mass come from?
Oh, well, that's very interesting.
No, I knew you would have an answer.
I have opinions on that. Yeah. Well, my favorite answer is that he rapidly multiplies his cells, right? Using energy and converting his energy form into additional mass.
Sure.
But where does he then go? Because that would imply that when he transforms back into a human, he's gaining a huge amount of energy, which is just like getting soaked up or something. I don't know. So 14. So we're going to be in the last 10, and it is 11. So that is going to be 69. 69. Oh, people are still posting. Why are you doing that? 69 is Montazuma. I need feedback not related to art. Okay, so our feedback will be unrelated to the art.
Okay.
This is the Reverend. Montazuma. Oh, okay. It's kind of a jaguar warrior thing, which perhaps is not surprising. Yeah, it's definitely got the Aztec loincloth thing. It's got the serrated sword. It's a he, pretty average height and weight. Sunspot, so yeah, so you definitely have that, yep.
Whoa, has the ability to control the sun.
Okay, I'm going to say that that's probably not actually the ability to control the sun, but I'm saying that that's what it looks like to us.
Okay.
But yes. Okay, although created by the Aztec god of war and sun, is that a single god or is that two gods?
It looks like one because it actually gives a name right there. So it's God of War and Sun, and I'm not going to try to pronounce that.
Huitzilopochtli.
This guy.
Yeah.
Yes. I know how to say Tenochtitlan.
Excellent. Okay. But he, did not, okay, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Yes. The Aztec people turned against him after, after the Spanish came in. It seems like that's when you really want your giant kaiju guardian deity gods the most, is when you're being invaded by foreign peoples.
Makes total sense. But, oh well.
Okay. Ooh, I like this. So he stands in the sun to regain energy. That's interesting. Interesting. Okay, so he creates areas. He uses solar flares to create areas where he can stand to regain energy.
Oh, his mission is to convince Hero Kaiju that we're not worth saving. Ouch.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, though. Like that Hero Kaiju are like always the ones who are portrayed as having more intellect, and now there's like an anti-hero.
Yeah, specifically an anti-human sort of thing.
Yeah, I like that, actually. I mean, not because I don't want to be wiped out, but at the same time, I think it's a good story.
Mm-hmm. Well, and so that actually, working with other kaiju, it seems like a very sort of support, team fighting sort of character, which I like.
I think that fits in with the sun theme, even.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I think that fits in well, because creating areas in the battlefield where you can regain energy and and sort of rest, and you're protected, and it hurts your opponents. Like that's all pretty neat. And again, so in comparison to the first character we talked about, leads a mission to convince heroic kaiju that humans aren't worth saving. That's a great example of a goal, right? Mm-hmm. I can take that and I can sort of extrapolate from that. Although it does seem a little petty. So what, I had a bunch of humans and they liked me, but now they don't like me, so screw them. All humans are dead forever to me.
Sounds like an ancient god to me.
Yeah, it's a little simplistic, I guess.
I guess that's fair.
But maybe that's why he's not being very successful. Because personally, I haven't even heard of this giant jaguar trying to kill all humans. So sounds like more like a nuisance. Having a snake for an arm. That sounds like an art comment. So actually, not. You said you didn't want comments about the art, but I think it's implied to me that he uses a sword, that he wields a sword, and characters who wield weapons, it's always a little. That's a little
to have him have
a little awkward.
hand.
Just because of the way the combat engine works is that then I have this large area that is effective and I can hit with that is immune to being hit back.
Right.
Because normally, like if I strike with my head or my tail, so like whatever is hitting, if I miss, you can then hit that piece that I was striking you with, right? But if I
sword characters
sword,
still rule Smash Brothers.
Yes, sword characters are very strong. So I might be tempted to make the sword an energy sword, or make the sword something that is powered by energy. Because that's what a breath weapon is, right? A breath weapon is an attack where you can't hit the weapon back, other than sort of like a beam clash, weapon clash thing. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, great. And just quickly, we have stats here. Power stat is very high. That's interesting. I would probably go with a higher ferocity, but
although the high power would fit in with the energy thing you were just talking about.
Yeah, especially if it really is powering up other people as well, and not just powering yourself. All right. Next one. 50. 53. So we're going to go back a page.
What's Xai's new name? Zenovius?
Zeramis. Yeah. 53. Tenebrous. We've talked about this before, or is this an SPN monster that I've written about? I don't know. I definitely looked at this before. So this is a she, an ordinary human woman. End of story. Ordinary human woman.
Well, there you go.
That's really not a monster.
That's going to be a very short fight.
Right. Who's the champion of the Greek goddess Nyx. Every night she changes into an incarnation of darkness to battle with other kaiju at night and defeat them. Yeah, okay. I feel like this is one of our SPN winners, because I definitely have read through this before. Yeah. Shadow Warrior, that's pretty cool. Shadow Daggers, Null Orbs, Tail Blade, Shadow Dash. Yeah, she offers a deal. Return, yeah. Okay. Well, looked away, so her daughter disappears. And, yeah, and she prays to the goddess of Nyx, and nobody prays to Nyx anymore, so Nyx was like, I like that. I will empower you to go kill evil things.
I like that she was named Tenebrous by the general public.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is we've said this before. They're like, you don't really pick your name, right?
Yeah.
Whatever they say. So, okay. Apart from all that, so I like that. I like the story. I have a goal. I have sort of structure. I'm not super fond of humans turning into monsters. That seems a little goofy to me.
Isn't that what's going on with the dragon monk woman?
It is. I'm not fond of it. It's not my favorite. Because that gives the characters too much sort of thinking and human level reasoning, and you want a bit of that, but I think that sort of takes away from the kaiju-ness of it. Ultraman fights the kaiju.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, that's
Ultraman,
true. Right.
But he is not really kaiju. He's
right.
He's a little different.
Yeah.
He's in that world, but
he's a guy with powers.
Right.
He's more like a superhero.
Right. So let's table that though. So something I don't like for Tenebrous, the drawing that we have here, it sure looks like a xenomorph.
Man, it looks exactly like a pink xenomorph with a big tail. Just it's a big old xenomorph.
Now I like there's a bit of a face on it, but it doesn't really seem to have any Greek style elements. And I think that if the Greek goddess transforms you, you would have some Greek stuff going on. I don't see that here. It has that like what's the name? Ecomation is an example of this kind of character, but the giant shoulder spikes. It really looks like a person in a suit, but it screams xenomorph. I would take this idea. I would take it visually in a totally different direction.
Yeah, no, like I think I completely agree. I think that it's a good concept, but something has to be done about the xenomorphosity.
Yeah, I do like the giant blades on the back of the arms. It does a good example of capturing the sort of combat style described for the character, which is sort of like low defense, high agility, twirly-whirly berserker, assassin character. I like all that.
Another thing I really like about it is the is the color. I like the bright colors.
Purple and pink.
Yeah, the bright purple and pink that normally wouldn't be exactly threatening, but I think that it blends really well into this genre, and it makes a good signature for the monster. I think it looks really good.
And I think actually it would work well at night. Like I think it would.
Yeah.
I think it would look sweet.
And
So,
everything looks like it's glowing like a lovely coloring.
yeah. All right. So 65, 67. 67. All right. It is Dragul.
Yes, I know I'm no Matt Frank, but I have read a Matt Frank comic before, so it's basically the same thing.
Ooh, here we go. Dragul, four-armed, orange. Now, this has some Greek style to it. Like, if you were to tell me this is a Greek monster, I think I would totally believe you. Let's see. Dragul is a behemoth of destruction. Everything that gets in his way, he throws to the ground and squashes. He's going to have a hard time doing that with clouds.
I guess they don't get in his way.
Right, okay. Four arms, lift his enemy over his head, throw him across the battlefield. Large claws, can burrow underground. Interesting. Can burrow underground. So, King of Titans, so indeed it has a Greek influence. You want to destroy civilization, do you want to destroy the world, just the people. Sounds like a great ally for our Jaguar hero.
Mm-hmm. Montazuma.
Dragul, obedient to his master Kronos, goes to the surface when commanded and destroyed the advanced civilization of Earth. And then, yeah. Flame Breath. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So Dragula. Yeah, so Dragul. Yeah, I think Dragul is a much better name than Dragula. Dragula sounds like Dracula.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, but I gotta say, I love this guy.
Yeah.
Favorite one so far. Love the background. Love the forearms. Love that it's not human, but it still has like a gigantically buff human body. And I love that it has four arms and it looks. Oh no, that's just a shoulder. I thought it looked like it had four pecs, and I thought that was amazing for having four arms. I was like, yes, perfect. And just the fact that it's like this giant sinewy and it looks like it came right out of Clash of the Titans.
Yeah, it really does. Like I said, that classic sort of Greek thing.
Exactly. And
they
nailed the look, and yeah.
I like the little spines. That definitely makes it monstrous. It's not just a furry human. It's definitely like a.
And the face and the ears. I think and the crazy claws. Like those aren't human hands. That thing.
Right.
Yeah.
In fact, there's only 4 digits on each hand.
Yep.
It's great. I think it's close enough to humanoid that you understand what's going on, but it's clearly bestial. It's very scary. I like that a lot. It's very, and its teeth are very pointy and sharp. Its claws look sharp. I feel like you only need you see it and you sort of understand what it's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's pretty solid. I like it. I like that it's orange too. Orange is a tough color to handle. All right. Oh, Sharky's on.
Yeah, again.
Sharky was going to be one of my other options for bringing in because he hosts the podcast.
Oh, does he live around here?
No,
Oh, wow.
he does not. All right, next one. Oh, too high. 44. Oops.
I even remember how to correctly say your name, Wei-Wei-Wei-Zing.
Yeah. 44 is... Oh, the Quacken. All right.
The Quacken.
The Quacken.
Amazing!
Yeah. So, the Quacken is from, the first or second set of trading cards. I think it's the first. No, maybe it's the second. No, it's the second.
Am I not? Dang it!
What?
The name!
Wezing?
Yeah,
We.
That's it. Yeah, that's right. Wezing. That's right, because the last time you said well.
No, it's Wee-Wee-Weezing is much funnier, though.
I know, that's what I originally called him.
Okay, so the Quacken. The Quacken, Obviously, there's an element of humor involved in the creation of the Quacken.
I have always been in support of humorous kaiju for this game.
Duck, lobster, crab, octopus thing.
No, and that's what I love. Like it's got because the Kraken, of course, implies the tentacles, but it doesn't imply anything about crabs. But now it's like 3 sea creatures at once, and so it has its own. It's not just a duck crossed with the Kraken, but it's its own mixture. But still, I love it. I love it.
Okay, so Limbo says Quacken was in SPN1, so I guess I was wrong. Because the Quacken's ability is that gains +1 to all stats after each round. Every round of
I remember that. Yeah,
stats.
no, didn't Oscar play him?
Maybe.
Right.
Anyway, so I will say that although this is silly, there's one piece that, for me, is too silly, which is the hair. The fact that this character has...
Oh, yeah, okay, so I agree with that.
An underwater character with hair, and maybe it's supposed to be a starfish stuck on his head or something.
Yeah.
But I don't like that. That thing that goes too far. Like having tentacles and sort of a crab body and lobster claws and a duck bill, like, weird, right? But I think all that works. The hair makes it too much cartoon character for me. Yes.
No, I totally agree with that, and it hadn't quite registered in my head, but yeah. Like that's exactly how I feel. It looks like it's wearing a wig, and it's just it's too silly. It's too
right.
And
I like my favorite kind of silly are silly where you play it straight.
Right.
No, yeah.
Exactly that, and it's the funniest. It's like the whole premise of the Venture Brothers. Like
right. Yeah.
Like just it's silly, but it's silly to the hilt.
Right.
And I want to talk frightenedly about the thunderous steps of the Quacken. It's terrible cries.
Yeah.
The duck call that goes out for miles. It would be perfect and amazing.
Yeah, I don't really think there's anything else that we need to go on there. All right.
Pun throwing is really foul.
All right, so 35 plus 4 is 39.
I wasn't... That isn't my pun. That's Wezing's pun. I was just reading it. Just so everybody knows.
Yeah.
I refuse to do that, Bamboo, but nice to see you again.
Alright, Screedon. Screedon, the Screeching Terror.
Lembo, that's what people have been saying about me my whole life.
Again, this is an SPN5 character.
Wow.
Yeah, no, this is definitely an SPN5 character.
Oh, man,
I'm
good.
Write this up for Frankie.
Look at that.
Oh man, getting that head sculpt by Dope Pope is always really helpful.
Look at those 3 eyes per side.
So, as I remember,
the hot purple mohawk. I want to see it fight something.
Right.
Sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, this character, he has got a Sonic thing going on, and also a Sonic and one other kind of ability. Range combat. Electrical blast and range combat, and gains energy through movement. Mm-hmm. So it's got a full 8-point agility. In the card may only be a 7-point agility, but yeah, so very fast and gains energy through movement. So we've done that before, most notably with Goldom, but also with Tianlong, 2 of our official characters. Do this sort of like energy movement. Tianlong, I think, is a really interesting comparison to what we're doing here with Screedon. Because I think they actually have a lot of similarities, and so we want to work really hard to make sure they were distinct. Screedon is a little smaller, more lithe even than Tianlong. And in some of the art here, the antennae are very straight, which is weird. I think they would want to flow in game, which would then make the character really look like Tianlong. So the name Screedon really makes me want to focus on the Sonic aspects, right?
Yeah.
But the way it's written, it seems like it's more electrical blast, and then the screeching is more of a rage attack ultimate thing. Yeah.
I mean, that's not necessarily bad. Like just the fact that it's named after its ultimate attack. It's shooting you with lightning, but it's called Screedon. But it's kicking our butts, and it hasn't even screed yet.
Screed. I think it's important. I think it's important for a character to really to sort of like promise what it's going to do, like tell you what it's going to do, and then it's come together. I mean, we already have things like Bunagi has a very interesting sort of Sonic focused palette. Like maybe since roaring is a major mechanic, maybe Screedon has some sort of like counter roar thing. Like Screedon can roar to interrupt other players' roars. That might be really interesting and really actually focus on the character as an anti-charger. Because in order to charge, you have to roar. But Screedon can just roar and like modulate the sonic waves to counter your roar, which would be cool. So then, in addition to a sonic attack, just the roar itself has some additional power.
I think that's a great idea. Yeah. No, I do think making it generally sonic based would be a good idea. Man.
Yep.
I do want to see its like agile claw attacks though.
Yeah. No.
Man, and that tail, that's gonna tear into something.
Right. I really appreciate that it has really long arms. Because something with a lot of flying characters, the arms are often kind of short, and that means that the arms can't reach far enough forward to effectively get outside the collision cylinders. So I like that. This is...
I like that it's screeching in literally every drawing of it.
Yes. So this is The Darkness, is the creator here.
Good job, Darkness. Nice one.
All right. 1... 5. All right, so that is going to be literally number 1. Well, let's see. This is Kuna. There is no number 1. So, Evil Lamppost.
I like that name. Is it like Hawaiian? Oh!
So, my sister was a lamppost once for Halloween. I don't know if she's evil. Kuna, the infested juggernaut. Yeah!
I just thought you were going to tell me your sister was a lamppost, and I'm going to feel like, man, there's some things we got to talk about.
So is this a giant... Oh, it is. Okay, so it's a tortoise. So she's a mutated tortoise.
A Galapagos tortoise.
Okay.
By a Chinese anti-kaiju bioweapon.
Yeah.
Already like it.
I don't think that was...
you don't like that.
So I don't think that was an effective weapon. There's this kaiju attacking us. What if we turn it into a more powerful version of itself?
I thought it was a regular tortoise.
Yeah. Maybe it was. Oh, okay. So
they made it to fight other kaiju.
I see. So okay. Yeah. So I'm gonna say I really like this look. I like the stretchy head coming out the top, and the sort of shambliness. Okay. The little growths. I'm not sure how I would do those in color. And I don't know if I want to get too gross with it. Also, there's giant barnacles on the shell. So would the barnacles also be gigantic? Are those mutant barnacles? Right?
I say yes.
Like I had that problem with Lycanoid. Lycanoid is holding a bone knife, right? And Lycanoid creates bone knives. But in the official art, there's blood dripping off it. And it's dripping as though there were sort of human-sized drops of blood. Right. If it was a kaiju, those would be like gallons of things.
Yeah, like a rain of blood.
It would flow completely differently. And that always kind of bothers. So here again, the barnacles. I'm like, oh, if this were a tortoise, those would be barnacles. But this is a giant thing, so those are giant mutant barnacles.
I'm complete. I will repeat my support of the giant mutant barnacles.
Okay.
As much giant mutant as we can throw on this thing, I'm pro.
Yes. Okay, let's see. Targeted the kaiju gene in kaiju cells and eliminated them.
Grandpa, that's a good one.
Right. It was used, blah, blah, blah. Okay, because the tortoise was not a kaiju, there was no kaiju gene. It didn't know how, and so it put its own DNA into the tortoise cells.
Or so it seemed.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. Slow and kind of like speeding up over time.
But powerful.
Yeah. So there's some extraneous details here that don't really go anywhere, but I think I would really like to expand on all those things to make the character a little more exciting. So visually very cool. Mutant Galapagos turtle, the stance, the way the arms come forward and have that turtle thing, that's all great. The thing I'm missing here is I'm not sure why.
What do you mean?
I mean, I understand that they accidentally made this.
Yeah.
Right? So, now what?
Now it's rampaging.
Is she rampaging? Does she fulfill the anti-kaiju weapon and she's fighting other kaiju? Does she just want to be left alone? Is she like? I mean,
you're right. No, that is missing. That's missing.
And so, unless I didn't, yeah. She came to terms. She was frightened, but came to terms with a new body. She was so she had to find a new home. So she swam east. Yeah, all of which is fine, but we don't have a I don't know which side she'd pick in a fight.
She's trying to find a good ramen restaurant.
It's so hard. It's so hard. All right, next one. So 70, 75. Last one. When I say last one, I mean the final valid entry from last night, which is Asura.
I hope he doesn't have too much wrath. Oh.
Yes. Wait, sorry. Dog is here.
He's got...
I'm asking dog to leave.
Yeah.
Please go away, dog. Thank you.
He's got like the same eyes as Screedon. That's what I saw.
Yeah. Well, that's this art is by Woodzilla, one of our more prolific artists.
Gotcha. And it's got the 6 arms like an Asura.
Yeah. So again, this is another SPN 5 winner.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. Polymillion tail.
Super deformed.
Oh right, the Dark God.
Dark God Asura.
I think people use the word God too liberally when describing these kaiju. I think it's great to, especially if it's a primitive thing, just say that humans used to call it a god.
Mm-hmm.
Or, that makes good sense. But to imply that it's actually a god or works with a god, I think that's a fine line to kind of walk. The one, in a case where I really liked it, where involving a deity in the origin story, is, and shockingly, I can't remember the character's name. Can you give me the white folder without making that tower fall?
Yes.
The giant white folder.
This guy?
Yeah.
I can do all of these.
You gotta drop everything else off, though.
I know.
Okay.
But that's the trick to not making it fall, is to extract.
So here's my giant copy of all the characters. Oh yes, so Armadar. So Armadar was an example of a character with a god that I really liked, because Armadar is the pet of a god.
Okay.
Right? God's pet. And yeah, I was enjoying that. Being the pet of a god is funny. So like Kerber's Klong does sort of the same thing. Yeah, but just to say this is a god or is powered by a god is a little cheap, I think. Like it doesn't tell me a lot. Greek gods feel better because I understand their motivations, but just like, oh, by the way, I'm this powerful god. I've never done much, but suddenly I created this thing. Let's see. Bloodthirsty. Abomination. 6 arms. Wants to become a god of destruction.
So it's from another universe, but it has a biomechanical exoskeleton.
Yes.
I am a little curious about that. Like, that implies engineering of some kind.
Right. Yes.
Advanced civilization.
5 alternating rows of large... What are they alternating with? The central row, the 20... Okay, so again, there's a lot of specifics in here. There's a lot of this one here. There's 5 of the... and I don't feel like... I don't think I really understand. I don't feel like... I think there's the idea here is not being communicated to me very efficiently. I'm getting a lot of details. Like if I was going to say, describe your friend Roger, and you're like, oh well, he's exactly 6'7", and his hair is exactly this long, and his eyelashes are this long, and he sleeps this many hours a night. I'd be like, that's you haven't really started with like, he's really geeky and enthusiastic and a good co-host. That's you kind of want to start there with something that I can like, I understand why I might want to hang out with him. So
to be fair, I do have very long eyelashes, and
I noticed that right away. So
people get extensions for these babies.
I think I really want in a fighting game. You're going to flip through a bunch of characters, right? There's a whole scrolling list of characters, and you want to see this one and be like, oh, that looks cool. Why would I play as that character? And and we need to answer that question. And is it because there's 5 alternating rows of legs? That's not why I was going to play it. I feel like there's a lot of stuff here, but I think we want to distill down and get a single, simple idea that we can communicate.
Yeah,
I think
I completely agree with that. Like, it's because I like extra dimensional.
Yeah.
I like multi-armed. I like that it's maybe has some implications as to what is it? Who has the Osiris? Is that Buddhist mythology?
I'm not sure.
But I know there's one of them that has 6-armed things that are called Osiris, and I like that we named it after that, and it ties in all these ways, and that's real. But and I completely agree. Like I think centralizing on the cool stuff and the interesting stuff about it rather than the exact, clause this long and that kind of stuff.
Okay. One more note. We spent a lot of time on this character already, but it's black. It's all black, and it even specifies matte black and metallic black. We do not allow all black characters in the game for special reasons, but we don't allow entirely black characters. You got to have something other than black going on. You can be dark gray, you can be mostly black and have bits. Like Heart Eater is largely black, but you can't be all black. That's not okay. All right. Do you have a question?
I was gonna ask if we could make ramen.
Yeah, sure. All right. Next character. 70. Oh, that's the same number. We just did that. Oh, and that's too high. That's too high.
They call you a racist.
Yes. All right. 50.
That was pretty funny.
It is funny. Calling people racist is very, very funny.
At least in situations where it's wholly out of context like this.
Yes.
I know. I recently opened an ant trap. It said cut the colored part. I was like, whoa.
So now number 50 from the thread, Ned, N-E-D, by Wad of Paper. When I say wad of paper, it's wad of -paper. So if it was wad -of paper,
right?
It would be wad of paper,
wad
but
of paper.
wad of paper. I feel like wad of is the brand name of paper.
Right? Oh,
Yeah.
wad of paper.
Wad of paper. Yes, paper company.
Wad of paper and paper products.
Yeah. Okay, Ned the Scavenger. Yeah. Okay. So it's an alien squid, and likes to find things to form armor out of. So like kids making daisy chains, or chainmail in your SCA group or something. He was able to destroy a mech kaiju and use its remains as some armor. Now he still wants to improve his protection because it doesn't cover much of him. So he's going to keep enhancing his armor over the course of a fight. That's cool. Will you repeat yourself a little here? That's all right. Run and find ways to improve his armor. Okay, so kind of a fleeing character. This is a very much the sort of character who survives some sort of like big Holocaust, but you find he's built a flying machine. You're like, really? The whole world fell apart, and you built something we didn't even have before then? That's pretty cool. Flings armor, or flings the scavenged bits. So just from a technical standpoint, finding bits and adding bits onto yourself throughout the fight, challenging. Flinging those bits off yourself, equally challenging. I feel like I would want to just kind of have some bits that are just on all the time, and I'd want to just attach a few new pieces to the head. And when I fling armor, I think I'd just like treat my energy bar as an armor bar, right? So how much armor have I picked up? And so when I picked up a lot of armor, I have a lot of extra stuff stuck around on my head.
Yeah.
And when I fling it off, instead of trying to say like I'm flinging this piece or that piece, it's just like I can just kind of fling generic bits off, and it's controlled by my energy, and then that sort of says how much energy I have. I like the idea that it's a squid. I like the idea that it's low to the ground and it maybe kind of like can scuttle around quickly. A scuttling scavenger. I like that. That also seems very squid and octopusy.
Totally.
Yes.
No, I agree. I think it looks cool, and I love the armor mechanic, and then it gathers armor, so it even when you recolor it, it can even have like different.
Yeah,
different stuff. Like I like that and it can have just about anything on it.
So let's talk a little about Tornok. because obviously we haven't talked about Tornok much. But so Tornok also has a thing where she creates armor for herself out of ice.
That's right.
And then that changes the way she plays. When she has her ice armor on, she's upright and slow, but has thick armor to protect herself. But then she has to drop down and shatter the armor, which is an attack itself, in order to run around on all fours and be fast and do repositioning. And so that's sort of like, do I keep the armor or not? And in order to make the armor, it costs energy. And when you lose the armor, you don't get that energy back, right? So maybe you shouldn't have even thrown the armor. So this is another interesting thing, because instead of energy that creates armor that you lose for positioning, so you have the ability to move, having armor, and energy are the three things you're kind of like trading one for the other. But in this one, you're just sort of like gaining armor over time, but then you use the armor itself as an attack. So instead of energy creates armor, which creates attack, you're just picking up the energy. I think that's interesting. It reuses some sort of tech that we have. I do worry that people will want a little too much, like I actually knock this piece off, I stick it here, it animates here, I see it, and then I throw that piece off, which is too much detail, frankly, to be able to handle, actually do it. But you can fake it pretty well.
Yeah. Represent it.
Energy style and elemental affinity for junk. That's cute.
I do like that. So,
yeah.
Is she just a giant octopus with claw hands on the ends?
Yeah.
And covered in junk?
Yeah, I think that's it. And it's an alien thing.
Oh, sure.
Right. I mean,
it's
obviously an alien.
Oh well.
All right. Next.
On Earth. Death to Tornok.
Yeah.
What up? What?
All right. 71. Jumping back to the end. Rage, the synthetic bioweapon. Okay, so this is another SPN winner. SPN 3. Yeah. So Rage is an interesting character.
That's a better pick. That first one looked way too much like Godzilla, but I feel like the later ones really do differentiate.
So the main thing about Rage is that he has this explosive goo that builds up all over his arms. And the more it builds up, the more powerful and ferocious he becomes. So in the card game, his ability is that he deals extra damage according to his ferocity. So if you can help him gain ferocity, he becomes stronger and stronger over time. I believe it's something like that. No. Okay. Oh, this is embarrassing. Nope. Here we go. S, and there is Rage. Yeah. +1 damage with punch attacks for every 2 power that he has. Yeah, so he builds up this explosive, evil bio stuff on the arms, and the more you build it up, the more damage you do with your attacks.
Sounds great.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Yeah. We're talking about Rage.
Can I look at that picture again?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at that guy.
Yep.
Yep. I do not want to meet him.
Yeah. Now, something else I like is because you put the focus on the arms, and the arms are explosive and sort of even potentially self-damaging. I think this definitely gives you a clear, this is a burst damage kind of character. This is I get out there and I do so much damage, and if I don't win, I'll be like, oh no, and then I have to run away, right? Which I think is pretty. Yeah.
May I ask you a question? So what I note about Rage is that it's a he, right?
Yeah.
He's got a lot of he's got the energy explosive stuff on his arms, and his pictures he's shooting energy from his mouth. So would he be an appropriate character to have Fury style, as it says that he does?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Okay,
I think he's a great example of a Fury character, because he's literally out there regaining energy by just tearing it up with other characters. And so he's Russian, right? Yeah, he was created in a Russian lab. Yep. Yeah. Experimented on, getting more intelligent. Yeah, I think that all works really well. I believe he's just sort of berserker. I don't think he really has any specific motivation. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so it's Rage. So we've done Rage reasonably well. Rage.
He's a cool looking guy. I want to see him fight Screedon.
Okay. 43. All right, number 43 on the list, Chilongo. Chilongo, the Dragon Master. And okay, interesting. So a very human, so a human character with a Batman cloak.
Yeah.
And
a dragon face.
And a dragon face. So is the character a dragon or is it a master of dragons?
Yeah, I liked Dragon Master. I have hope, but we'll see what it says.
See, telekinesis. Once a human thirsted for power and turned into a draconic lord known as Chilongo. Okay. Yeah. Horrific war. He was Chinese. Yes, he finds a cave. Oh, yes.
Don't go into that cave, man.
Finds a magic sword. Yeah, and then he takes him over. Okay. So this seems very similar to Fuchu. I feel like I've seen this elsewhere, but this is definitely not the same character I have in mind. Yeah, so become incredibly powerful and strong. So, the way I understand it, you have this warlord who thirsts for power, hears his legend, goes to a cave, finds a magic sword, boom, becomes a new entity, this. I don't like that. I don't like that.
You're going to say that.
Because, yeah, you knew this. So, I don't like it because finding a cave with a magic sword in it is completely different from being a powerful warlord who thirsts for power. Right?
You know what? That's totally right.
Right? It's like, oh, I found this cave. Well, like, what? So anyone who found this cave?
Right, he was... after a busy day of warlording, he decided to go spelunk for a while.
Right, so I feel like if being...
That's a good point.
If being a powerful warlord is what drives you to get this additional power to become the Dragon Master, I feel like that warlordness needs to be what drives you to get the power. So, like, maybe...
Like you got the power that you craved, but at what cost?
Right. So there's, maybe there's a bunch of monks that are guarding this thing, and you siege it with your army, and the monks use all these powers against you. But like you're such a great general, and you have so many warriors, that you overwhelm them and destroy the thing, and they're like, no, don't do it. You don't know what you're doing, and then you take the thing, and then you become the dragon. I feel like that would be stronger instead of saying, powerful warlord, and then went into a cave one day. I feel like you've got two different origin stories there, and the warlord story is more compelling. I feel.
Yeah, no, I agree because I was going to say, like, I know you're not a fan of human kaiju, and I thought actually you explained it really well with the Ultraman analogy.
Right.
But so I agree for the most part. But I think I like the idea of thousands of years ago, ancient warlord. He's had a lot of time to stew. He's not really human anymore. It's not like he goes. It's not like he is a Chinese guy in the day. And
there's several sort of human-based kaiju that I quite like. I mean, like Bakuyoku, who is like a human who's been possessed by the spirit of greed, or even Yukira, or the ice thing. Who is this woman who's also sort of like uses this ice demon to like achieve her goals. Like I feel like that works. What I'm really uncomfortable with is that's too strong. The thing I prefer to avoid is something where you have somebody who's in a kaiju's body, but is just thinking like a person. Right? The idea that the kaiju could be fighting and might be like, oh hey, what am I making for dinner tonight?
Right.
Spoils it a bit.
I hope this is over by movie time.
Right. Okay. Chilongo. There we go. Commented away. Nope. Oh, nope. Gotta roll 15 or under. I just want to roll high.
All
right, so 30. Oh.
It is impossible for me not to see these D20 results in D&D terms.
Yes. It's impossible. Don't even try.
I won't.
All right. Nasumu by Chickaman456. Nasumu, the kaiju with a parasite partner. See, more Woodzilla art. Immediately, so 6 arms, immediately the front arms that are perched like this are going to be too short to effectively reach out
and
to
do
strike
anything.
things. Because you have to imagine the character exists within a cylinder.
Yeah.
And that cylinder is sort of like that cylinder won't overlap any buildings or other characters, otherwise it'll be interpenetrating. And so when you have a character that leans forward that has a very broad cylinder, and you have these arms, it's...
they have to reach outside.
Yeah. Yeah. So Kaiju lives on and terrorizes the planet of Hakai. After advancing in technology, the people of Hakai transported her to Earth so they could rebuild their homes without Nasumu in the way. Now Nasumu must defend against Earth's dangerous Kaiju, but she isn't alone. Nasumu has an army of Gotos. Parasites that live on her can transfer the enemy Kaiju's secondary attack to Nasumu, giving her the ability to use it. Oh, okay, so she's a weapon stealer.
Pretty cool.
Interesting. So she lived on this alien planet. They got sick of her, and they got the technology to send her away. They sent her here, and she fights other Kaiju, but she steals their powers.
Neat.
Let's see. A lot of life. Okay. Yes.
Is that translatable in game, like Shang Tsung?
It's okay. Yeah. So, stealing an opponent's weapon, that's great, right? Because if you are a character and I've loaded you into memory, I've loaded all your weapon information. Mm-hmm. So for me to use that weapon, well, it does limit what sort of things can be weapons. For example, if you were to copy Bunagi's Echo powers, you wouldn't be able to get Bunagi's damage burst from using the Echo powers appropriately, right? But, throwing down Megalon-style Napalm or using Kododan's Ice Chunk, all that should be very powerful. I like the idea of copying the secondary powers. That's kind of interesting. Yeah. And so the way I imagine this is that she's throwing parasites, and they sort of like go and then come back. Who did this? Tron Bonne did this in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. She would have these little serve bots, and she'd throw them at the opponent, and they'd like latch onto them and then return with energy or health or something.
I remember.
Yeah. That's interesting. I think that the character as written relies a little too much on that gimmick. Because again, if I'm this alien kaiju, am I stealing weapons from the other alien kaiju? Like, that seems weird that I don't seem to have a lot of combat prowess other than stealing your weapons, but if I fight someone who doesn't have weapons...
Right.
I fight Gural, it's like, you have no weapons. So I'll just go over here. Right.
I'm so sorry I bothered you. No,
Yeah.
I get that. No, definitely she needs some kind of combat suite of her own.
Yeah, and it's not... I don't think there's anything wrong here. But I feel like we've got 70% of the character idea. We need to flesh it out and get a little bit more.
Lengthen the arms, the front arms. Because frankly, if they were just longer, then everything would be fine. If they were as long as the middle arms, then they would be fine.
Yep. All right. Oh yeah, Destructadon, we did yours already. Absolutely, you totally missed it. Forget it.
Lawlers.
Right. 43. Wow, we're jumping back and forth. 43 is going to be... oh, nope, we did that. That's Chilongo. Alright. Let's do Atlas by R.W. Everett, 99.
R.W. Everett,
Yeah.
99.
Oh, it comes with a poll. Is Atlas awesome? Yes, sorta, or not really.
We'll answer after this.
Yeah.
Oh man, Atlas has a castle on him or her.
Does not list... Let's see.
Has a castle on it.
She. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's looking like a she.
Yep.
Has a castle on her. That is awesome. Earthquake. How
Okay.
did she produce an earthquake? And did she get the other kaiju to stand on her and just goes like...
Okay. Yeah, so way bigger than a regular kaiju. So, sort of says, look, this is just an idea I had for a cool character. It was way too big to actually be in the game. So don't mention that. So I think we're done commenting.
Alright, cool.
Okay, great.
I like games.
I like games. Yeah. All right. Up to 72.
Well, I do think Atlas is awesome, though, by the way. Just for the poll. Someone wants to put my vote in there.
Okay. All right, so here is Nova Hyperion has Senorith. Senorith. Oh, this also has a poll. What do you think? She's rad. She's bad.
I don't know, man.
I don't know, man.
Phantom projection? That might have a sword problem.
Oh, I see. I was doing an interesting back bend. That's weird. Okay.
And it's the coalescence of two beings. An astronaut. Ooh.
Okay. Oh, alien symbiote. Okay. Yeah. Summons cosmic phantom limbs.
Oh!
Interesting.
And the actual, and so the front of the monster, like when you look at it, is a person bending backwards.
Yeah.
That is insane. Like,
that's really weird.
I'm a huge fan.
It's got that Voldo thing going on.
Yeah, except it makes more sense than with Voldo, weirdly.
Yep. Okay, so yeah, absorbed up. Absorbs the energy of living beings, absorbing their stamina. Striking with symbiote-infested phantom arms. Okay, creates phantom limbs. Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
I'm trying to remember a good line from Star Trek 1, but I'll just move forward.
Okay, so here's what I think is sort of interesting about this. The thing I like about this is the sort of alien weirdness, right? So it's like, so if I'm a giant monster with claws, right? I'm there to slash and punch things.
Yeah.
But this is more like, what are you trying to do? I'm not sure. I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that the mystery of the alien symbiote's goals is part of the horror, right?
Although it definitely said what its goals were in the thing, but it's like, but the average person might not
when you're
know.
out there fighting, you're like, is it trying to infest me? Is it trying to drain my energy? Is it trying to build an army of unstoppable, backward-bending human astronauts? Like, that's not super clear. I like the implication that it came to Earth because the human astronaut wanted to return to Earth,
right?
And so it's sort of like influencing and manipulating what it's doing,
but not entirely in control because it's a bargain. Like the whole thing is a bargain. It's like, yes, I'll come to Earth, but only if I get to rampage around eating the tasty kaiju that are all around.
Yeah.
Yep. Pretty sweet. No, I think that is like the standout story of all of this. I think this one is particularly creative because, like you said, the alienness, the fact that it's a big person bending backwards, the fact that it has a story involving old space travel, which I like, and and it's like this guy obviously went through some Event Horizon experience and now he's back.
Yes.
And I just the whole thing, like, it implies this whole interesting narrative. And that it's still like in the middle of. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Oscar, do you have a question?
Yes.
What's your question?
Can I have one of the ramen things?
No.
Either?
Nope. That's for Cleo. All right. Okay, next one. Gotta get some lower rolls here. There we go. 17. Back to the first page. And 17 is Barox. Okay, these are all characters we've seen before. Barosaurus. So this is another SPN 3 character. Right. So Barox is essentially was that on whatever the island was that got hit with nuclear weapons that created Godzilla, right?
Right, okay.
There was another creature almost as good as Godzilla who became another thing that's very similar to Godzilla, but how come no one pays attention to that character? Right? So that's Barosaurus. And
isn't that basically King Ghidorah's origin?
It depends on which film.
No, I know. There's the time travel thing and the replacement with the other thing.
With the Ghidorah, the 3 little cherubic golden dragon things. Yes. Yeah. So Barosaurus. So I already rewrote this origin for the card. Born the day the nuclear blast rocked Odo Island, killing most of the local creatures. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, this is basically alternate Godzilla. That's really what it is.
And more so than what's the Kaiju Land Battles one?
Yes, more Comododon.
Yeah, Comododon.
So, I mean that's really interesting. Unfortunately, it also means that really there's not a lot of potential for this character because it really relies on Godzilla existing in that universe, right?
Yeah.
Without Godzilla existing, this character doesn't really exist.
Right,
so is this an official Toho kaiju? Well, no, it's an original kaiju made here.
Right, so
you kind of put yourself in an impossible position. So there you go. All right. Next, 50. Just straight up 50. Oops, I jumped ahead. Oh, that's the Barosaurus thread.
Does Pipeworks still have the Godzilla license?
You don't have the Godzilla license. You have access to it.
Okay.
And multiple people could have access.
Sure.
Anyway, yes. But Pipeworks is still the most recent developer in the U.S.
Cool.
Although there was a Bandai Namco came out with a PlayStation Godzilla game. Mm-hmm. Interestingly, Bandai Namco formed from the ashes of part of the old Atari.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And so there is some speculation that some of the stuff in their game is based on assets from Godzilla Unleashed. Yeah.
Cool.
Some compelling arguments were made.
No, yeah, I bet.
Okay. So, Kaiju X's character, Akurogon. Akurogon.
Ooh.
Whoa. Okay.
You got a lot going on, big guy.
Yes. A lot of spikes and claws and tails.
And gauntlets?
Yeah, interesting.
Gauntlets with spikes? It looks good.
Interesting.
Are those goggles? They can't be.
Huh. Interesting that it has stats here, and it's Ferocity 2, Agility 1, which would be an incredibly weak character. I don't know if that's... Atomic Ocelli Lasers. Yeah, seeks the destruction of life. Fine.
Who's Wolfkin? Sorry.
Who is Wolfkin? Nobody important. No.
I'm just saying, they've asked me if I was related to Tom Cruise. Someone asked who's the kawaii guy next to Simon. You guys.
This is Roger Soar. Yes.
So handsome. I know. Thank you, though.
Specializes in world destruction. Okay. After murdering his brothers and sisters to achieve top status, world after world fell into his vicious wrath. That seems like too much. If you've destroyed multiple worlds, how do you get between worlds? Yeah.
Maybe, like, on your way out. Like you finish your destroying.
Also, there is a siphons it and converts it into radioactivity. So a rule of the Kaiju Combat universe is that only Earth uses nuclear power.
Okay.
Nobody else uses nuclear power.
Okay.
Right? And that's one of the things they're like, that's crazy. Why would you do that?
What?
So only Earth Kaiju can use nuclear power.
Okay.
And aliens are always weak to it.
Cool.
So that's the thing.
Field.
Atomic Ocelli Lasers. Okay. Yeah. So this character is fine. I don't think it's been developed to the place I would like to see it. You've described some weapons. Okay. A lot of the origin so forth is saying like this kaiju is amazing, so powerful, everyone fears it.
Destruction.
Which is
No, yeah, exactly. Like, all we know about their world is there's some kaiju over there that are really, really awesome, and this is one of them, and he's the most awesome one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to show, not tell, right? You want to describe something. You want me to feel like this is an awesome character, you don't want to tell me that's an awesome character, because then I start to think, why are you telling me so often that the character's awesome? Are you trying to trick me? Maybe the character's not awesome. I'm not sure if I trust you. That's where my head goes, trying to read this. So, 65, 67. All right, back forward. 67, Dragul.
Oh,
by Nick Short. Oh, we did do Dragul.
No, I love Dragul.
All right, let's do it again. All right, 25, 26. Comet 26.
Dragul is just one of those. I love the ones that look like they could have stepped out of some really classic piece of the whole genre, and Dragul could have stepped right out of Clash of the Titans. It looks like he's made of clay, and like he's clay made it. It's perfect. It's just perfect.
All right, so number 26, Ultimate Godzilla is the creator. It's Therazine. Therazine the Scythe Claws.
Therazine sounds like he's going to put you to sleep, like he's a drug, but this sounds like Thorazine.
Right, so this is another SPN 5 character. Yeah. It's recommended that the card art should look like this, and not like Big Bird from Sesame Street. Okay.
Well, I agree that it shouldn't look like Big Bird.
Too bad I already sent Big Bird as concept art.
Yeah.
Well, we wanted to tie in with the My Life is Big Bird thing.
Right. Did you see the Eugene Weekly did an interview with Brett Spinney?
No.
Eugene Spinney called him up.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome, right?
So I want to check that out.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
We live in Eugene. Oh wait, no, I shouldn't tell you that. You'll murder us.
Right. So, happily living out her days in the Cretaceous period, she was just another normal dinosaur.
Sure.
Then one day, that remained the same. But the day after that...
And one day, she found a squirrel. No, too far back.
Okay, so her claws... Interesting. Okay, and this is buried for 75 million years.
Sure.
Tricky. I don't love that, but I know we do have to do it sometimes.
I mean, how they had to get her to the future somehow.
Yeah.
Maybe like a time portal. That'd be awesome.
Okay, so I feel like you say we have an ancient dinosaur who gets changed somehow, and then that same character, after getting changed, then randomly gets entombed for 75 million years.
Okay, I get that. Yeah.
I feel like that should be one event. This is the rule, like, you can either invent a time machine, or you can be, like, the greatest, runner of all time, but you shouldn't be able to do both. Like, one weird thing. But that's okay. I mean, that's an easy tweak. Whatever this event is that changes the character also moves her forward in time somehow, or puts her in suspended animation. So, claws. All claws. Lots and lots of claws. Really unwieldy. I was
thinking that. I can't imagine how those arms are going to get those claws high enough to actually strike anything.
Yeah. On the other hand, I feel like this is the one thing. Like when we talk about like every character should have a thing that's kind of the central thing. Clearly, the weirdly large claws.
Yeah, is the thing.
That's the thing. So I don't really have any trouble with that. I like that it has those early reptile bird elements, but clearly couldn't fly, because I think that gives you a lot of sort of like jumping, flipping, slashing, spreading the claws out kind of stuff. With that kind of thing, I'd be tempted to go a little more kung fu. That's probably inappropriate. Then again, I'm also missing the why. Like, what does it say?
Right.
I'm a giant monster with claws because what? Like, I would prefer that the character did something where, like, used their claws a lot, or was afraid to use claws, and then you got giant claws, and you're like, oh, I see.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So
also, something you mentioned before on an earlier monster. Like, I definitely want to know what is Therazine's, or Therazine. What is Therazine? It's hard to say. What is Therazine's motivation now? Like, what is Therazine
Right.
do with her day. It's like, we need to change the name. Name's got to change. It's too hard to say. It's too easy to mispronounce as Therazine, and Therazine sounds like Thorazine, and it doesn't sound like a dinosaur.
Therazine. Yeah.
Therazine. Oh, that sounds better, but even still.
Well, but you can't have a name that is could be Therazine or Therazine.
Yeah.
Want to avoid that. Anyway, yeah. So giant weird claws are my thing, and then we just want to make sure that everything else really supports the giant claws. We just want to support that.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
No, and so I do want to say a couple of things about Therazine. One is that she's supposed to be a dinosaur, and I love that she is a dinosaur covered in colorful feathers.
Yeah.
Like that, I just want to see more of in media in general, and I'd be very excited for a kaiju that has that. So that's actually what brings Therazine closer to my heart is just that little bit of science education there. And with giant claws. So I think there's a lot to do. I do think the event of getting giant and weird should be combined with the time travel, like Godzilla.
Yeah. No, absolutely. All right. Let's see. Oh, Monster Comet Day 22. Oh, Caldera. Okay. So, here's one of our SPN4 characters, and this is one of our EVO winners for SPN5, unless I'm very much mistaken, which I'm not. So, Caldera. I'm quite pleased that people have taken to Caldera, because it's sort of a weird, explosive head midget, right? Yeah. So, right. So, like, she has a nest of eggs. She's a dinosaur, and then everything is covered in lava. She's trying to protect her eggs, but she's having a hard time, and she mutates and gets explosive lava in her head.
Happens to us all.
Yeah, I'm almost tempted to talk about her Evo form. Yeah. Yep. So she's still searching for her eggs.
Pachycephalosaurus.
So I'm gonna say right now it's canon that her eggs have also survived, right? And we don't talk about what that is. That'll be reveal for her game maybe. But it says so.
Her eggs have also survived. That is right. Pretty cool.
It's very Kill Bill.
She has she has to fight her own kid. I think she should have to fight for her own. One of them grew.
Yes. Yep.
She has to fight it for the rest of them. Oh my god, I'm super excited now.
Yep. Yes. So I just want to talk about what I did for what does there say of Caldera? It's a cool so you have those goals, right, that we've talked about before. It's I have the goals as I was protecting my egg, I survived living inside lava tubes to protect my eggs, right?
Yeah.
And I came out with an explosive head, and so you've got a clear charging combat style.
Yep.
You've got the explosive damage type, which I love. You've got that sort of small and plucky, but it's clear. You have a giant explosive head.
Yeah.
What do you do with that? It's like a Bonk, right? Which is a 3DO game that I bought on the Wii. I was so excited because I couldn't afford. I didn't know anybody who had a 3DO, and I wanted to play Bonk so badly when I was a kid.
My friend Fernando had a 3DO. It was the best. It was exactly as good as you think it was.
Yeah. So let me talk about what I did with Caldera for the Evo card, because I like the character. So for Evo, I like to invert something. Take something that's true and make it false. Take something that, and you flip all the values for it.
Okay.
So, in Caldera's Evo form, and the art is not finalized, but what I wanted to do was give her an explosive body. Instead of an explosive head, it becomes gigantic with a small head, and the body is explosive and infused with lava. It's initially was sort of thinking about it cerebrally, and so the head got infused, but now just the body's become explosive. Yes.
No, I like that. I like that. I like that. I like that she comes out of her origin with a motivation. Now she's trying to find her ex.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's really it sticks with the Dinos theme.
And it's like a super Pachycephalosaurus. I'm really into it.
No, yeah, it's a really solid thing.
Really solid.
And I mean, I presume that those dinosaurs also would already use their bony heads for hitting things, and the fact that you've just infused it with lava and have explosive stuff. So are we exposing Spoiler Man now? Is that what we're doing?
What?
No? It's like, I figured out who Spoiler Man is. We're just talking about Spoiler Man, Spoiler Man, Spoiler Man.
You know, this is what got me off the shout box in the first place. It was always about, like, who we're mad at today. And it's like, oh, man.
Yes. All right. All right. Ooh. Oh, someone off the first page. Monster Comedy on the first page. Psychud. So number 19 by Quinn Red. Oh, this is gonna be weird. Ah! Of course. Although Psychud exhibits rabies-like symptoms due to its sickness. Okay, so Quinn, you make weird, disgusting monsters. Gotta work on your grammar. This is confusing. It's the wrong it's, the wrong, there's no possessive on rabies, the like is not modifying the word you think it is. Psychud wanders drowsily across the land sometimes, simply coughing through its gills and lazily dragging its tendrils on the ground. I understand what you mean. Okay, get an editor. Unfortunately, there's land-dwelling episodes that attract hungry seagulls who smell Psychud's decaying skin and flay and peck into its flesh.
Ugh. Like, I love rad, gross monsters. I love them. But it might not be right for this game.
It's definitely, it's got a Hellboy feeling to it.
No, I love it. Like, it looks cool. It looks like those giant tentacles are its eyes, but they're not. Like, that's great.
Yeah.
I like the way it looks. I like its weirdly human legs.
I like the big fishtail that makes me feel like, like it would live underwater, just kind of like drift around.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have like webbed feet. Instead of feet, it has like chunks with webs on the side that make them kind of look like tail ends. Like the actual design on this thing is awesome.
Yeah. So Quinn Red, I think the cycle is broken, but Quinn Red had a character in every card set for the first 4 sets. Yeah. Although a couple of people have done 2 or 3. I'm not sure if Quinn is actually the leader anymore, but yeah, that's weird. I love the just different number of digits, and like they bend and flex oddly. I don't know how this character perceives its environment.
The same way everything with crazy nightmare not eyes does. Through its crazy nightmare not eyes, it's those things. Those things see. It turns out they've got little ocular nerves all in them, laced in there. It's an alien. Whatever.
Quinn Red says, "I can't hear or see any of this, but good." Okay. All right. I'm going to say. So we have about a half hour left. I'm going to say my throat is hurting a lot.
Okay.
So I apologize if I'm talking less now. I'm going to try to let Roger carry it some, but I'm.
I love carrying things.
Good. All right. 30. 32.
I agree that eyes are overrated. Whoa, can I? Never mind. We're good. There was the top picture of that thing that looked amazing.
All right. 32 is Rocky by Bessie66. Oh, Rocky the Manly Mountain. Another SPN 5. I feel like we're getting too much of a little preview of SPN 5 here. Here we go. Rocky the Manly Mountain.
Rocky is a large amount. Well, he looks good. Doesn't he look exactly like another guy? Like he looks.
Sakura?
Yeah, the guy in the game. He looks.
So I think there's some differences here. Sakura definitely has a tortoise something, is like leaning forward and has a big hunchback.
Yeah.
And this is more of a squat, golem-y thing, with longer arms. They're both kind of mountainous and they're both covered in foliage. That's true. Yeah. Let's see.
Rocky
big, slow. Yeah.
Manly? What?
Yeah. So clearly, the big challenge here is to distinguish the character from Sakura, right?
Yeah.
Who was a living hill,
right?
Although he's
I thought this was a picture of him for a second.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that is just a challenge. I mean, there's lots of different ways to go about it. I think changing the foliage pattern is one thing. I mean, it's called rocky. Maybe just go more straight rocks. Right?
Yeah, less foliage. That's
Yeah.
definitely what first made it happen. What is manly about this mountain? Like, the manliness just seems to be this huge thing, and I mean, I guess it looks masculine, but it more looks inhuman or gorilla-esque.
I would be tempted to. I'd be tempted to really run with the manliness thing.
No, I mean,
So like maybe there's like a a sweat lodge or like a bunch of hunters who are out there and they see this thing and they're like, oh, that's manly. So I don't think that the character necessarily thinks of itself as manly.
Right,
but maybe
right.
other people like really take it as like a
or maybe there's this shot on the news where it's like the famous like newspaper photo of it that comes out, has it like posed like with its chest out and it's one really buff arm.
Yes. I like that the name of the rage attack is Mountain King. It's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Big and slow, made of rocks. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing going on here that's wrong, but it definitely requires some specific discussion about why it's not Tersakra. Mm-hmm. So there we go.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep. Nope. Too high. Okay, so 15, 18. Number 18. The Glodka Mech by Sweet Tooth 564.
Like the name. Ooh, so Cylon Centurion.
Yeah, no, there you go. You nailed it. Yeah, that is very much like a Centurion. Yeah. The Glodka Mech. Heavy Punch, Whirl and Strike. So is this a... the UFO head detaches from the body.
Pretty cool.
People,
like
yeah.
Jet Headstrong. References.
Interesting. Okay. It's made out of every leftover World War II superweapon the Germans could find to defend themselves with the coming Russian invasion. The Glodka is the name of the Nazi time machine that powers this great mech.
Should I give her my character sheet?
I mean, I like the Nazi war machine background. I think that's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. I think that again, the Centurion thing is of course the number one issue, but I think that could actually be solved relatively easily by either doing something with the big red eye thing or something else, because it looks like a big chrome tin can where it's even got the little mouth thing. It's way too much that, but I think that the humanoidness I think could be kept. A lot of it could be kept, but like the head especially just like really puts the whole rest of the body together.
So I'm going to say that the story says this is amalgamation of various World War II things. This doesn't look like an amalgamation to me. The way it's drawn, it looks like one thing that was designed and built for this purpose. The fact that there's matching launching missile launchers on the shoulders and whatever. I like the Iron Cross element.
Yep.
That's sort of fun.
I think the whole thing is great, and I love that it incorporates the Russia versus Germany thing in World War II. Again, I'm all it's the same nerdiness with which I was like, "Yay, colorful feathers on a dinosaur!" I'm going, "Yay, the Germans versus Russians," because that was the actual fight.
Right. It also says it has a time machine.
It has a time machine?
Yeah.
Is that why it's all new and stuff? Like it didn't get stuck over the years?
I'm not sure what it's doing with the time machine. What is, when you have a time machine...
Yeah, like you're going to use the time machine.
Time machine is not like, oh, I built it, and I'm like, I can't think of anything to do with that time machine.
You don't drive your DeLorean just down to the store.
Right. Okay.
But no, like I like it conceptually. I like this big crazy arm that shoots stuff. Like I like that one of its arms is a gun. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, many characters have that one arm as a gun thing, right? Because it's awesome.
So wait, is it? So hundreds of soldiers man it. So wait.
Right.
So is it?
Yeah, no, it's a piloted mech.
So are these Nazi soldiers from Nazi Germany who have used the time machine to come to our current time to fight kaiju? I don't quite get it. Like what?
Yeah, it's not quite clear.
Right. The coming Russian invasion of the Kaiju World War, to Glodka and the Patreons from reinforcements. Yeah, I don't quite get what's going on with it. Like, I love the detaching head, flying saucer.
No, I like that.
I think if the head looked more like a flying saucer than a Cylon head, I think if it just went all the way flying saucery, might be a real help to it.
Yeah. All right. All right, straight up 40. All right, end of the second page.
Wait, powered by time machine? That doesn't make sense.
Dracosaurus Rex wants to see Thalok.
I just like the name Dracosaurus Rex.
Thalok. So Thalok is another SPN4 character who is an SPN5 EVO winner. And interestingly, of all the SPN5 winners, which are selected by vote, right? There's not a randomization. So initially, getting in the card center initially is random, but EVO is by vote. And I think this is largely by Bamboo, because everyone loves Bamboo and wants to just copy what he says. But Bamboo said, Thalok, kind of a big red spiky dinosaur. And I'm like, I don't understand your problem. He's the king of the dinosaurs. He's like a big red spiky T-Rex who's awesome.
Yeah, he does it. For 1 second, I worried that the game was having too many dinosaur kaiju, and then in my mind I was like, wait a second, what is this genre we're talking about?
Yes.
There used to be literal giant monsters roaming the earth, so that's fine. I'm good.
So let me. I'll just talk a little about the Evo form I'm going with this. Another Evo spoiler. So in SPN4, Thalok is the king of the dinosaurs, right? So all dinosaurs get bonuses when Thalok is in the game.
Yeah.
Not only on his team, but on all teams. All dinos dinos are more badass when Thalok is around.
Awesome.
And he's king of the dinosaurs, right? It's awesome. So
My king.
Evo form, I always like to subvert something, right? And take something, make it back to whatever. In Evo form, someone else is king of the dinosaurs now, and he's the ousted king, right? But he's lost some of his power and some of his because his whole self-image is about being the leader of the dinosaurs, and so Evo Thalok is looking to be the king of something else. So he's a king without a kingdom. And so his rule is you pick a keyword and he becomes king of that, right? So any team you have that have a few characters with the same keyword, Thalok will join that team, become their king, and buff everybody, right? Because he's just got to be a king.
That's pretty slick. Pretty slick.
Yeah. Oh my. Wow, this conversation, I don't think they're listening.
No, I know, right? No, I noticed that myself.
They're talking about Mario games.
I really stopped commenting on I almost called it the shout box on the chat just because they're
okay. But if they're not going to pay attention to us, we can start just doing nonsense. I'll just start juggling.
Lenbo, nothing can contain me, not even myself.
Yes. Woohoo. All right. King of Monarchs.
It's really late to be having lunch.
The concept is way too easy. Your concept is way too easy.
What was it? Lord, what was it? Is it?
Hello, Roger.
Hello.
I didn't know you were going to be here.
So Matt Frank could not make the thing, and so we called in Roger as a pitch hitter.
Cool.
So
Are you done or are you still doing it?
we are still going. We have about another 20 minutes.
Okay. Oscar's making lunch. It's way too late, but he said Cleo made lunch, so...
Right, and Cleo asked to make lunch, and I gave her permission to make lunch a while ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, well, it's 3:30.
Oscar came down and asked to make lunch, and I told him no.
Oh.
In fact, it's recorded on the live stream.
That's true. We have documented evidence.
All right. We got 20 minutes. Let's see if we can get through a few more. Ooh.
Awesome.
52. Oscar is becoming a teenager. It's adorable and frustrating. Eldric by Geigen Obama. Eldric the Abomination. This is my first time ever submitting a monster. It was going to be a dragon, and I talked about it, and I decided not to make him a dragon. Okay? So so he's inspired by the Thing.
Cool.
Okay. Biting, kicking, it morphs. It has these serpent-like tentacles that come out of its back.
Body horror.
It has bloodlust. Okay.
So that Caucasian flesh color that it has is literally supposed to be that.
Okay. All right. Created by an evil alien scientist. Well, misunderstood. Right? They are alien. Made from the flesh of human beings that were devoured by an alien parasite that created itself into a horrific creature. Okay. All right. So this is a little sloppy. But the good thing is that it has Gogol, right? It's got that weird body horror thing, right? It's supposed to be a fleshy, stitched together by an alien mutant thing, right? And that's good enough. Like we can really take that and go. So I mean, obviously the art is also very crude, but we got enough out of it. It's got a weird, too large mouth. It's got tentacle, snaky appendages that sprout out of its back. To go with the thing, I think you need to have some sort of appendage like appear in the middle of a fight. You're like, oh, I didn't even know it had that. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Let's see, some of the flesh being torn off, the tentacles could even be torn off. Probably not. I wouldn't generally want to do that in the game. That seems too complicated to me. Okay. And there's a little fan art that's
I thought that was a good picture.
Here.
Ooh, I like that one.
Oh yeah, that's Gamora, I think is the artist here. Yeah. So it's kind of like a little gross thing. Kind of reminds me of Spawn or the Max a little bit in the style.
It does remind me of the Max. No, I like that.
Yeah. So it definitely it seems to be kind of smaller and weirder. So I think it also needs a bit of some sort of combat trick, something that it plies off its grossness, like it's going to regain energy or rebuild health or increase its maximum health or.
I do like that it morphs its arms into a sword and a mace. So I'm imagining in that strongly body horror style, like we see right. Like when it turns into like an axe. The big bony axe blades come out from either side of it, and actually cuts through the flesh, Wolverine style.
Okay,
and like that's awesome to me.
Could do a sort of an absorbing man thing. Where it fights you, and then it becomes, goes into sort of different forms, something that defeats you, right? So against a mechanical thing, it gets like an electrical burst thing. Against a fleshy kaiju, it goes more swordy to cut the flesh.
That's pretty cool.
Against like demonic things, it gets more, anti-demon omen stuff. To really make it sort of versatile, so that it's weaker than other monsters, but it can sort of like focus in on you and turn its body into something that's better at defeating you. That's interesting. I mean, we do these sort of like counterplay monsters on occasion.
Yeah.
I think there's room for more of that. Anyway, so Geigen Obama's Eldric.
Geigen Obama.
Yes. All right. All right. 46. Right back up here. Brudon has Facecodon. Phascodon. Facecodon.
I'm down with that as long as it has an awesome face.
The koala. The koala corroder.
I love everything about the koala corroder. Oh my god, look at it. And what is it? Jigsaw? Amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know what Jigsaw is, but I imagine that's the stuff that's inside. Look how happy he is to be killing people. I like him.
Okay. Clambering Claws, Acid Burst, Pool of Pain, Toxic Grenade, Dissolution Stream.
Alright, let's check you out.
Yeah. So, basically, this is the anti-Duncan. As far as I can tell.
Anti-Duncan.
Yeah, because Duncan creates humor and silliness, and this just dissolves and breaks things apart.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not funny. Right?
It's rad,
Gets
though.
really upset at people thinking that it's a funny thing.
Intense pain.
Yes. Staggered, blah, blah, blah. Toxic blood. Kinkuto is deployed to stop him. Interesting. So a kaiju escapes your lab and starts destroying things, and its arm gets cut off in that battle. And you're like, let's replace that arm with a giant toxic cannon.
That's what I would do.
Right? I mean, yeah. Unusual koala metabolism.
It made a deal with the Australian government in exchange for defending Australia from kaiju attacks. See, there it is. There's the motivation. That's what we talked about it 100 times. It really, like the kaiju itself, it's inhuman and will inevitably betray its puny human
allies.
Allies, that's right. But for now, it's defending Australia against other kaiju. I love it. Love it. Love everything about it. I love that they found a way to communicate with it.
Yeah. Well, you would think before giving something a giant weapon arm, you might want to at least ascertain whether or not it's trying to just kill you as soon as it goes back.
I've read a lot of comic books where the guy wakes up and he has all the powers and he's like, "Who are you people?" And they're like, "We want you to be our super weapon." And he's like, no.
2 words: corrosive arm cannon. Okay.
It's like, no, guys, it'll be awesome.
Right.
But will he help us? I don't care. Corrosive arm cannon, dude.
Yep. All right. Ooh. 60. 62.
Sorry, Sonny Leon.
We're never going to comment on anything Sonny Leon does. That's just science. No. Oh, Pain Eater. Okay. Wait, is Pain Eater requested? So this is the set of cards that I printed specifically for Pain Eater's creator, and I mailed them to Germany, where the creator lives, and they were returned no such address. Couldn't deliver them, and so I wrote back to the creator and was like, "What's going on?" and never got any response back. Mm-hmm. So, but apparently it's still around. Still want comments. So here's my comment. What's up with you not getting your cards, and what's up with that? That's my question. Because that was like, that was like $27 to mail this to Germany, where it sat for a month and got sent back to me. So what? There's my first comment. Yes. So, blah blah blah. So,
woohoo!
Yeah.
Oh, buddy.
Yes. So, Pain Eater, forced to fight and kill her former allies in ritual combat for the amusement of the Salos Empire.
Yeah.
Yes.
What is ZL? Is that a planet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. And so, Pain Eater, just destroying everybody and hates being a captive. But then finally, a new, awesome, strong, able to beat Pain Eater kaiju comes along, and Pain Eater's like, finally, I'm going to die and be released from this. But instead,
set her free.
But instead, that creature who was better and stronger than Pain Eater says, I'm just going to turn and destroy and sacrifice myself to set you free because no one should be imprisoned like this. Oh, so much pain. All you got to do is eat it. You got to eat it. You got to eat the pain away. Yes.
That's awesome. So now what's Pain Eater doing? Like, is it trying to get the final? Is she trying to get the final fight with that powerful kaiju?
No, that kaiju died.
Okay.
Right? Died for setting Pain Eater free. So Pain Eater has escaped and is rampaging around. I imagine that she's going from world to world. I imagine the kaiju Jin are excited and find ways to teleport her place to place. So in the card game, her abilities that she does +1 damage on her second attack, +2 damage on her third attack. So she gets more dangerous the more she goes. Like, she's just, there's a volcano exploding behind her. She's just covered in claws and teeth. She's a very furious sort of fighter. Pain Eater is pretty rad. Now notice that we don't have to say anything like, is the most powerful kaiju of all, right? In fact,
Right.
Pain Eater is not the most powerful. Pain Eater is freed by a more powerful kaiju.
Right, yeah.
But that just makes the character better.
Yeah, I agree completely. And in
Thoc
fact,
is-
the disappointment, even that it's like, oh, something powerful enough to destroy me. Oh no, I don't even get to be destroyed. Lame.
Yeah. No, having those limitations and weaknesses and places where things don't work out the way you want, that makes the character much more interesting.
Very compelling.
Yay! All right,
And it looks amazing.
and it's amazing.
Gold claws, acid coming out of its mouth just because. Amazing.
All right, 12.
Got the venom tongue going on. I'll find some property to compare each of these two, dang it.
Right. 12. Zooming ahead to it. Destructadon. Another card winner. Okay. So this is an SPN4, Destructadon. This was the full 8 ferocity. Just a berserker. Straight up berserker. That's what I think. Big Dr. Octopus kind of arms coming out the back.
Yeah, no,
Spike
missiles that come from it. I like that because I was just thinking those are really too short to attack, but then the attack is missiles. That's cool.
So that said, so actually I wrote this character's. No, it's not there. Oh, that's 3, right? I wrote up a description of this character, and I simplified a great deal from what was originally written. Because so let me read a bit of the original origin here. The Dracon people of the planet Drax X-13 were once a peaceful race till they figured out their world was dying. Desperate, many leaders had massive starships built large enough to save them, and they left the planet. They were able to escape the dying world seconds before it exploded, forced to wander the universe, and their ships, food and water grew short. The only way to save the race is to find a new world. It was not as easy, they thought, and because it was not easy, they grew hostile. After failing to conquer Mars, they came to Earth. They decided to create a bioweapon to destroy the humans and kaiju on the planet so they could colonize it. And they created a powerful kaiju DNA from theropod dinosaurs, a creature with insect-like arms, and a creature that could fire explosive spike missiles. They called it Drac X-13 to honor their former home planet. It was then placed in an escape pod to be launched to the Earth. By the time it landed, it had grown to a full size, and it attacked. So, that is all over the place, right? Their world was dying. They were peaceful. Now they're not peaceful. They tried to conquer Mars. They failed. They built a kaiju, but they built it out of dinosaur DNA from Earth. Is spike missile it's like. So here was my rewrite because I had to rewrite it in 4 sentences. So here's my rewrite. The Dracon's homeworld exploded. The populace had very little time to prepare their escape. Fleeing through space, they sought out a new homeworld. They hoped to find an uninhabited planet, but it was not as easy as they had hoped to locate such a place. Failing to conquer Mars on their own, the Dracon grew a terrifying bioweapon to lead their invasion of Earth. Okay? So, that sounds like it hits a lot of the same keynotes, but the idea is that they're peaceful, and they left without thinking about how they were going to find a new place to live, right? So that's why they didn't have a plan. And they're like, oh, well, we'll try to go here. Oh, we can't go there. And then they sort of turn to this aggressive way. I don't like the saying that it's grown from stuff on Earth because it implies they're already here on Earth.
Right.
It also implies that, they don't have a lot of time, and they try to conquer Mars, and then they go to Earth because it's right there, right? And then they grow a giant monster. Like, how long does that take?
Yeah.
Right? That's at least a while. So they're taking something, repurposing something they already have, I imagine. The idea is that this is not a well-planned monster, right? They didn't have a specific something. This isn't battle tested. They're just like, we're desperate. What have we got in storage?
Yeah.
What can we modify? Give it some missiles. Send it down. Let's see if that's good enough to attack and invade Earth. Although really this suffers from sort of a tragic flaw that you don't want to attack the place you're trying to invade. You want to make allies and be friendly with them and say hey, you got any space you're not using? Because we really could use a space to hang out. Although they've also clearly freed up a lot of hold space in their ship by getting rid of this giant monster. I mean, what do you feed that, right? step one, when your race is starving, instead of invading a new world, maybe throw out all the giant alien kaiju pets that you have that you're feeding.
Jimmy, we know you love her.
Right. All right. We have time for one more. We're going to do one more. Not that roll. Nope. Oh. It is 47.
That's you, Sonny Leung!
Is it?
Yes!
Curses! Proved myself wrong. I said we would never comment on that. Yep. Tints. Okay, well, it's another character we've done. So SPN 4.
Which one is Thalok? Is that the big king of the dinosaurs?
That is the king of the dinosaurs.
Completely awesome is my opinion of him. He's a giant T-Rex with spikes coming out of him who's the king of everything.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. So Tints. So Tints is very interesting. Is a little complicated, and I'm sorry if I'm going to get this a little wrong. But so Tints is related to the Sunny Leung's first character, Zorka Salo, who is an SPN 1. But there is, yes. So Tints, he was good, and then he becomes corrupted, right? So he was a protector of the seas and the skies, okay? And Zoyak is this evil thing, yes. And Tints can't beat Zoyak on their own, and Zoyak liked Tints and thought it was interesting, and so used his dark magic to corrupt him. Okay, so here's what I like about this. This is such a not an American story. In an American story, you have something big and powerful, so you get a whole team to go defeat it, right? And then you lose initially, and then you come back and you win. Right?
Okay,
that's how you do it. That's an American story.
Louis L'Amour writes him.
Right, and so, but in this one, you have a bunch of people, and you go and you attack, but you're not strong enough to defeat the evil thing. And then the evil thing pulls a few of you into becoming its own dark servants. So now there's fewer of you, more of the evil. Like that just sounds like a losing arc, but it's very interesting and compelling. You're like, oh no, wait, what? Like, how am I going to come back? And so Tints is corrupted and creates these corruption crystals, right? So Tints like flies around, and and is all like glassy-eyed now, and creating these evil crystals everywhere. I think that's really cool, and it's very like fast. But Tints is himself corrupted, right? And so you can't really blame him, right? And this is not like the combat style that he was built for. But he's now been corrupted, and so he's using the corruption style against you, which is very interesting. And there's this whole crystal, like he's got sort of like crystalline wings now, although he sort of had that Eastern dragon just flying to the sky thing already. Yes. And let's see if there's any other bits. No. Yes. So there for Tints. Yes. Can fly or swim. Seed the earth with sonic sensitive crystals. Oh yeah. Okay, right. So the sonic sensitive crystals. So Tints has sonic powers. And can explode the crystals, which is really cool. Because, of course, you want the crystals out there. You want to corrupt people and do things with crystals. But the crystals also act like little remote-activated bombs. Awesome.
All right.
Yes, and this comes from Dayu Rays. So I don't know if this is something that Sunny Leung made up, or if this is something that is known in Chinese mythology or stuff. But as far as I know, it's a unique thing. Which is interesting because he's creating his own little sort of side system here with all like good guys and bad guys, and I don't know how the good guys are going to win, given that like they've already lost their most powerful characters to the bad guys, so so like there has to be a side mission to free them, and then you come back again. Like it just sounds complicated. It's a lot of.
It reminds me of what it does remind me of that particular backstory is it sounds very Super Sentai. And it does. And it reminds me because I'm a huge fan of Super Sentai and Kamen Rider and that just I'm picturing like the Tokuger villains, like just because that's exactly their kind of thing, and the good guys and the bad guys, and I do so like I say, anytime you can like pluck something directly from the genre that makes it seem like this is part of the genre, so that is what I like about that background.
Let's see. Chinese Video Maker says, when's the next Monster Comment Day? Yeah, we've been doing them annually, so next April. There we go. Of course, you can get Monster Comments for 200 Kaiju coins, which, you play the game for a week or two, you can earn 200 Kaiju coins pretty readily. Please do that. Let me just speak to that quickly. We'll wrap up. We're done with the monsters, but we have another couple minutes here. I was not well prepared for all the people who wanted monster comments, and I did not have a good system for tracking them. People would write me an email and be like, "Oh, good, I'll just keep that email up and we'll get to it."
Mm-hmm.
Matt Frank has been very, very busy. He was too busy to be with us today. He's been very, very busy, and so we have a backlog. I think we have 9 that we still have to do. And honestly, I have a little bit of his time next week. We're just going to be focusing on new progenitors. We're not even going to get to the monster comments. So I need to transfer those out of email and save them better. So I apologize for the people who have spent the coins or redeemed the tickets for their monster comments and haven't had them yet. Yes, I apologize for that. That is totally my bad. And once again, Matt Frank could not be with us today because he was at a convention. He's still traveling. He won't be home until tomorrow. And that was, again, my bad. I thought this was a day that was clear for him, and so I scheduled it and put it out there. And then when I contacted him about it, he's like, "I told you, I can't make it that day." So, we miss you, Matt. Soon we will be working together all the time again on new things. Thank you very much for watching the whole Monster Comment Day. Hopefully the new camera was nice for you. Hopefully you could see my wall with more clarity than ever before. Thank you very much for Roger Soar for showing up last minute to be my co-host. Yeah. Great. I'm going to sign off. Thank you very much.